Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well this morning. Another day. It's actually day 13. It's a beautiful Friday. And my son, he's punching the bag early in the morning. Getting his workout in. So I was thinking about, a topic for the week, which is just making an uncommon commitment or sacrifice to our church, our business, whatever organization that now you're connecting to that is going to help you reach your goals and aspirations. And as I was thinking about this, I was thinking about how really Napoleon Hill's book ties right into, this conversation and, and how well it's connected everything I really wanted to talk about. So I know today is Friday. It's it's basically the end of the week, but I want to make Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich the book of the week. Because it's a very good book. God actually quoted this book for reference. Didn't say that quoted, but he referenced this book to me specifically about using the Mastermind Alliance principles and the qualifications. So this is definitely something I know that God approves. And you're talking about specifically the Mastermind Alliance chapter. God wants us to work together. He wants us to work as one because, when we work as one, nothing is impossible for us. So we're going to make that the book of the week. Definitely, if you haven't read it, I would definitely read it, especially the Master Alliance chapter. And so, we talked about two qualities, right? We talked about two qualities. First quality, dependability. Second quality is loyalty. So now what we want to do is go into the third quality, which is ability. Okay. So, I was thinking of a way to have this make sense and to probably, describe my experiences with these qualities in my place of business. Especially that's when I really think about it. These are definitely three great qualities, and with my experience, your loyalty will make the people you're working for, the people you're working under, that'll make the people you work for like you. They like loyal people, and loyalty is really, you're talking about not just being loyal to the business, but being loyal to them. That's what's going to cause them to like you. Your dependability is going to make them really like you. Okay, because bosses like it when they have more than the fact that they just like you personally as the reason of working with you. You know what I mean? They need something more than that. Loyalty is more for them. Dependability is more for the business. And then when you're talking about ability, you're talking about going from being liked to liked a lot to now you're qualified. So ability is super important. I know actually someone right now that if they had abilities, abilities, they have a fast track to doing a lot of different things, because they already have the loyalty, they already have the dependability, but without the ability, they're not able to go as far as they really could. So definitely, when I think about ability, in that interview that I was talking to you about that I had with my boss, Pete at the time, I remember a point of the interview where he asked me, what are your Excel skills? And at the time, I really didn't have that much experience with Excel. When I think about it now, it's nothing but God, because my Excel skills are probably. He asked me what my Excel skills were 0 to 10. And knowing what I know now about Steven Richardson 8 years ago, his Excel skills were probably I'd probably say a 2 or 3. The reason I don't say a 1 because Steven Richardson back then knew how to turn the computer on. He knew how to turn Excel on. He knew the icon. He knew what the icon looked like. He knew how to, move the cursor, move the cell up and down. But in terms of doing anything more than that, nah. Steven Richardson at that time wouldn't have done it. And so, I'm going to give you some interview advice. Good morning, Serenity. How you doing? You want to go and get some fruit? Let me give you some interview advice. He asked me, what are your sales skills? 0 to 10. You know what I told him? I told him a 10. And the reason I told him a 10, and I explained to him, I didn't lie to him, and I'm about to explain to you why. I told him I told him my Excel skills are a 10. Not because my Excel skills right now is a 10, or I can demonstrate Excel skills right now as a 10. But my Excel skills are a 10 because if you show me something one or two times, I won't pick it up like that. Or if you tell me what you need to get done, I'll be able to get it done. That's just been something I've been able to do, not just with Excel, but with a lot of things. And I thank God at the time, my boss, he liked that a lot. He actually, laughed about that. Because he was asking me about my ability. And in my answer, I was able to demonstrate more than actually something that's even more important than ability. I was able to demonstrate confidence. Okay. And really, I was demonstrating dependability, because basically I'm telling him, you can depend on me to learn anything that you need me to know. I wasn't, I wasn't, what they say, I'm trying to see the word, overconfident. I wasn't, prideful or self-absorbed, you know what I mean? Because many times when people ask them, the 10 was an interesting answer, because a lot of people, even if they have 10 level skills, they're not going to say it. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people are trying to be overly humble. Stop moving that. Move that back, Drew. Move it back. They're trying to be overly humble, or they don't answer the question directly. They try and, sidestep the answer because they don't want to seem like a smart guy, like a know-it-all. You know what I mean? So I was able to be confident and show him that I'm technically savvy. See, that's the part too, that you can work with me, man. I might not be able to tell you how to do it exactly right now, but hey, you tell me what it is tomorrow, I'll be able to do it. Same thing. I remember before I actually went to Red Lobster. Actually, I was trying to become a server at a fine dining restaurant, and I remember I applied to be a server at Eddie Merlot's. I remember, and I didn't have any fine dining experience, and I thought I'd give it a shot, because I always thought myself as a pretty good Red Lobster server. I felt, hey, I can do this. I can communicate properly, and many times I thought at Red Lobster I was giving better service than I was actually being paid for it. So I had tried my stab at being a fine dining steakhouse server, and I remember one of the I was in the interview process with the general manager at the time. He asked me how to garnish a martini or margarita or something. I think it was a martini. Because we served margaritas at Red Lobster, so I knew what garnish for that. But he said, how do you, what do you compliment with a martini? And I remember me telling him, I don't know. And it was a black mark, because that's a very simple thing to know at a fine dining restaurant. And my wife and I, we don't drink. So, it's not like we would know just by experience any other way than just by work. And so I remember calling him back, I believe, soon after the interview was over. And I called him back and I said, I think his name was Mr. Ruffalo. I think it was Ruffalo. I remember correctly. So, Mr. Ruffalo, you garnish a martini with a lime, or whatever the answer was. I called him back over the phone. I said, "Can I speak to Mr. Ruffalo?" I don't know. I think I asked was assistant. I finally got him. I said, "Hi, this is Steven Richardson, the one you interviewed." I was like, "Hi, Steven. How you doing? That question you asked me, it's a lime." And for some reason or another, that left an impression, and I was able to get the job. As Eddie Merlot's server. So I was going into training, I actually, when I actually was going through the training, I was really having a tough time. I actually didn't ended up getting the job because we had to really go into details about knowing the menus and things like that, and I noticed that God was really closing the door on that because when I went, I just, and I guess this could be a sign for others that you may be in something that doesn't belong to you, or somewhere where God doesn't want you to be. When I used to go training to learn about the food, because you got to know about the food, details of the food, it seemed like my brain would just turn off. You know what I mean? I usually I understand things very quickly, but man, I had a hard time. And you know, I was very good with the people. They loved me because I was very good with the people, but I just didn't, because people would go in there and spend easily $300 on just two people, and you would need to know about wine. You would need to know about different types of food, and you know what? When I think about it, if I would have kept that job, I probably would have ended up drinking, wine, and that's what a lot of the servers that did. When you're, many times to know a lot about wine, oftentimes you drink it and taste it for yourself, and you know, to be able to really make that connection with the customer. I think I would eventually just started drinking wine, and that would have been good. Definitely as a man of God and somebody who wants to be an example, it would have been good. So actually, I'm happy that didn't work out. But you're talking about ability, and I know we kind of went into the interview process. More important in showing from that Red Lobster experience to my Power Step interview, you know, one thing that those two experiences both show is that confidence and your desire to know the answer is more important than you knowing the answer. Okay, your your desire to understand, your desire to move forward, that was more important to the manager at Power Stop at the time, and that was more important to the manager at Eddie Merlot's, which is a whole nother industry. So, that's important. I just put that in there. It's not part of the Napoleon Hill list, but just talking about ability, I would really maybe squeeze that between number 2 and 3. You know, in Napoleon Hill's list is a burning desire to know, because that's what I showed. Those two managers, burning desire to know. So, ability. Going back to ability over time. I picked up things pretty quickly. On the computer and Excel, and I would probably say within the year, I was probably able to mask what I didn't know. I was still there's still things I was still training myself. But one thing that was great, and I think that Pete knew from the interview, is that they would not have to sit down and teach me Excel. I would be able to teach myself. That your ability to be self-taught. You know what I mean? So that's also probably another way to state. I would probably say this priority in the list of a Mastermind Alliance on my list, 2.5. We call it 2.5. So you got number 1 is dependability. Number 2 is loyalty. 2.5 is burning desire to know, along with your I really want to say ability to be self-taught, but since that's number 4, I don't want to make it confusing. So I would say your ableness. I would say, yeah. So burning desire to know more, and your ableness to teach yourself new skills. That's 2.5. That's what my experience has put as even more important than ability. Because I got 2 jobs with 2.5. I got 2 jobs without 3, but I got it with 2.5. So, definitely you want to show your boss that it's not about where you are. But look, I'm not going to stay where I am. It's important for them to know that. It's important for them to know that they don't have to invest a whole bunch of time into getting you to where they want to be, because that's what bosses think about. How much time do I have to invest in him? And if it's going to take more of my time than I want to give, then they're thinking in their minds, I might as well just do it myself. That's one of the warning signs, I would say, with especially if you're talking about a CEO. But it can also apply to a manager. Whenever a CEO or a manager starts spending special time with you, that is either going to be a very good thing or a very bad thing. I've seen it. Special time or the beginning to take projects away from you. That's either a very good thing or a very bad thing. Because if they're spending extra time with you, especially to correct something, and just going from my experience, it could mean that they recognize they have a problem. Now, they're spending extra time with you because they're trying to answer one question: how big is the problem? How big of a problem it is to continue having you there? Are you able to be maybe rearranged somewhere else, or can you be built up again? So them not spending time with you, and let's say when you do ask them, how am I doing, and they say you're doing a good job, and they actually able to give you examples of why they think so, that's a very good sign. But when they start spending extra time, because that's one thing managers and CEOs value the most is time. So for them to give you time, for them to give time to anything, it must be very important. Very, very important. It can't be in the middle. Okay. So, that's something to think about. Ability is something that can be, taught over time. And I thank God that I was in a job I was able to learn on the job. I actually had enough room to be, it was just a perfect situation. I was coming in to start the Amazon store, and at that time, we it was at a beginning stage, so there's a lot of things I had a lot of time to be able to learn in between, because we were building everything from the ground up. So I really thank God for that opportunity. I came in at the perfect time where I didn't have to just fly off the bat. So definitely ability is super important. It's going to be that's usually the one thing that you can use with a boss, even if they like you, that will cement them wanting to move forward working with you. because it's just not enough for them to like you based on your loyalty or think you're a good person based on your dependability. So definitely invest in your ability. And like with my personal list, 2.5, it is icing on the cake. And even more important, if you can slide in there, to be self-taught, self-sufficient, to learn new skills and have a burning desire and a push in your heart to know. Because that's another thing time is something that managers and CEOs, they value most. But one thing, because I manage a team and lead a team, probably one of the most exhausting things that a CEO or a manager can do is have to push people to want to succeed in their own company. That's probably one of the most exhausting things. See, it's easier to train someone who wants to know. It's harder and takes more energy to push someone that knows and just doesn't want to do it. So, that's one thing. Or sometimes pushing people that really do not have the ability. So you push them hard in what they do have to try to make up for their ability. And that's why many times with managers, if you're missing ability, they don't even want to touch you. Oftentimes they don't want to touch you. Yeah, one second, man. Many times they don't want to touch you because even if you're dependable and loyal, you can be dependable. You can be showing up every day. You can be loyal. You're going to be in that seat at 8 o'clock every morning. But sometimes, many times, if you don't have the ability, your manager, when they look at you, they're thinking, you're a workout. Because you're going to show up every day, and actually, you're the kind of guy, because you don't have the ability, I wouldn't mind you not showing up, because I can't use you when you get here, and I have to, you're a reminder that I got to push myself to do what I need to do, and then I got to make sure I got to push you, and whatever I have left, or what I was going to use for pushing myself, I got to push you to do something that you are really not qualified to do. And so oftentimes managers say, no, I can't touch them, because especially if they're somebody who works hard, and I understand that, because somebody who's worked hard and very focused and don't take a lot of vacations like myself, I got to conserve my energy. I cannot waste my energy on somebody that I have to push, because usually someone with ability, you got to push them every day. It's not like, when working out, you push those weights every day, it eventually gets lighter. But a person that don't have ability, you got to push them every day. They don't get lighter because they're not getting the ability. So it's not getting lighter. So you're not pushing to get stronger. You're just pushing just to keep business going. Hold on one second, babe. All right, but I will get that to you right now. Children need me, so I'm gonna get out of here. But definitely, bill is important, and make sure you just invest in that. Make sure you're aware of what your boss is wanting. Make sure that you're aware what you're capable of doing, and even if you're not able to have the ability, have something that will make up for the ability, not having the ability until you do get the ability. All right.